What's up, y'all? I am back for another video. I've I'll admit I didn't watch Covenant. I didn't get a chance to watch it today. I was basically kind of pretty much talking with friends all day today, so I really didn't really get a chance to watch it. So I'm gonna probably watch it tomorrow or like the weekend if I don't watch it tomorrow. But today, I figured I still wanted to do a video. I didn't want to just not do a video again. So why not talk about what I kind of wanted to do a video for a while on what I would do with Scream 7. Since we kind of know now what's going on. Because, I did a video like this about it like a couple months ago. But now we have like an update. We have updated news. Nev Campbell was brought back. Kevin Williamson, who wrote the first movie. I think he did the second one too. But mainly the first one. He's being brought back to direct, which that is interesting. I'm hoping he's right. If he's writing, there is a chance this could be decent if he's writing. He better be writing too. But, I want to give my thoughts. Y'all know how I feel about Scream. And I'll admit, the bad Scream news, that the bad news Scream was getting for a while. I'm not going to lie, man. I was gloating. Because they didn't just make a bad movie with Scream 5. They attacked the fans, the whole toxic fandom narrative. They really leaned into that. The fact that you basically insinuated if you don't like bad movies, you're going to kill people. That's kind of what they basically did with the killers in this movie. It was so fucking bad. It was disrespectful to Wes Craven. I don't understand the direction you went with fucking Scream 5 at all. I did a video like sometime last year where I basically did, it was like a year later, like Scream 5 still shit a year later, because it is. It was the fact that I was finding new things. So, and then 6 was decent, but, until the end. So it just, unfortunately, the damage was done with 5. So where I think they should go with this new one, obviously we've talked about what happened with, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, who, I'll admit, I kind of shit on in mainly Scream 5. I think she was a bit better in 6. She was really good in Abigail. I actually think she's probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. I really think she was good in that. And I don't know if it's a case of that now. It really makes me think that whoever directed 5 probably didn't do her any justice. Because I think she is a good actress. I think, unfortunately, 5 didn't really show it. 6 a little bit did, but it still wasn't perfect. So to actually see her in a legit performance in this movie was like, okay, I think she could have been a good lead, but you didn't try with her at all. I think if they didn't go the route they did with her, that character could have maybe been good. Sam, and Jenna Ortega, like I said, I love Jenna Ortega. I'm, one of my more, in terms of newer actresses, I really like her. So I just, you have her and then don't really do anything with her. And I think in Scream 6, she was pretty good. So I think she could have been a good final girl. And just unfortunately, obviously, what happened. I'm going to say it again. I don't think Melissa Barrera should have got fired. Do I agree with what she said? No. But I also don't think she should have got fired. But I'm also consistent, unlike a lot of people who defended her, but then are they shit on Gina for her opinions. I think Gina, it was bullshit what happened to Gina. Her getting fired, or Roseanne getting fired. I think in the same can on that too, but so anyway, I mentioned what happened, so I figure why not, let's get into it. I still wanted to do a video today and not do a video. Tomorrow, more than likely, gonna try to watch The Covenant tomorrow. At least watch it. I don't know if I'm gonna review it tomorrow. We'll see how tomorrow goes. and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do on the weekend. I might look for like a CBR article or something like that, because and maybe I'll give Screen Rant the old one more college try, but because I do want to do one of those videos. It's just nothing's come up, honestly, that I want to cover, just being honest. So, anyways, let's get into it. The thing I think Scream needs to do, for one, is above anything else. They need to flat out just retcon Scream 5 and 6. I'll admit, mainly 5. Not just because I didn't like it. There's no point. Think about this logistically. There's no point in doing a Scream 5, continuing the Scream 5 as canon, when Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, your two leads from the last 2 movies, are gone. Why continue? There's no point in continuing. Because let's say you continue with them, you're gonna have to come up with some reason for explaining why both of them are gone, and obviously they'll just come up with some lame shit like that they just left out, and just kind of like what they did was kind of how they explained why Sydney wasn't in Stream 6. They just said, oh, she's with her baby and taking care of her family. They'll do some shit like that where they'll just say, oh, they're gone, and throw away line. But I just think even that, there's no point in even doing that. Just discanonize Scream 6, 5, and 6. As much as I like 6, I like parts of 6. I think the third act fucking ruins it a little bit. But I do think if they had just released 6, I think there's a chance you could have continued with those characters. But there's just, unfortunately, because both of them left, and Scream 5 just in general needs to not be canon. I just think it makes more sense to just make them not canon anymore. How you can do it? Easy. I have suggested, why not just make Scream 5 and 6? You make them stab movies. You basically just make them stab movies, and that the events of those movies aren't really canon. And say, oh, there was this Ghostface attack, and it turns, oh no, it was a stab movie. Or like, you don't even have to make a stab movie that was released. Have it be it was some ideas on the internet. There were like some fucking, this could be really meta. You make them like strips, unused stab strips, and that's one of them. And basically, one of them that you throw like basically the plot from Scream 5 and 6, and you just say, oh, they were unused stab plots. So you could bring Dewey back, because I think that's what you need to do. Honestly, I mean, because they're already bringing Sydney back. Because personally, what I would do if you're actually asking me what I would really want to do, I say you do what you should have did with 5 and just go all new characters. But they're already bringing Nev Campbell back. And they're bringing Courtney Cox back. So just bring Dewey back, make it canon that he didn't die, and if you did it in a perfect way, I know they won't do this because they're not going to shit on their own work. But if they're like I said, the unused stab idea, you have maybe one of the core cast you have for the new movie, and have it be one of them is like, that's stupid or something, or even have Dewey say that's stupid, that he hears about his own death in one of the unused stab. Because that's how I do it. I think that would make sense. Or you just make it a movie. And maybe you have a scene where Dewey's watching his own death, and Dewey's like, what the fuck is this? Something like that. Like, I think you can get away with it. And almost make this the official Scream 5 we should have got. Because I think if you try to keep 5 and 6 canon, where do you go? Sam and Tara are gone. Your new leads are gone. Where do you go? And I'm sorry, Mindy and her brother, I think Mindy is the girl's name. I don't remember the brother's name, who's basically they're trying to make him the Dewey. There's no point in bringing those characters back either, because I've seen some people suggest you can continue the franchise with them. No, they are. I'm sorry, I just don't think they have what it takes to lead this franchise. I mean, there's a reason they're bringing Nev Campbell back. Like, let's be real. I'm okay. I'm open to bringing Hayden Panettiere back and have her have a scene with Sydney. You know, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Bringing fucking I'm trying to think of her name. I don't know why I can't think of Kirby. Yeah, bringing Kirby back, but I just don't see the point of bringing back the characters from Mindy and her brother from 5 and 6. Just disown those characters. They go on with their lives. You can have them. Maybe they can't. I personally think what you need to do, you disregard 5 and 6. You have this be the last one. I think this needs to be it, at least with Sydney's character. But I think in general, this should probably be it for Scream. I don't think Wes Craven ever envisioned this many Scream movies. I don't think he envisioned Scream going to fucking 7 movies. And if this one does well, they'll go to 8. So no, you need to stop it now. 6 at most would be okay, because then you could have the first 3 and then like the new 3. If they had did it right, If they had did Scream 5 right, you could have Scream 6 been the last one. But no. Obviously, I think you should go with new characters. But if you're gonna bring Sydney back, I'm okay with you bringing in Kincaid. Try to get Patrick Dempsey. I'm pretty sure he would do it. And plus, Radio Silence, I think did Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. I think they did do Thanksgiving, and he was in that, so I could see them bringing him back. And I guess it's canon. Her and Sydney, him and Sydney are married. He was Kincaid from Scream 3. Him and Kincaid, her and Kincaid are, I guess, a thing. Because they're people, I guess, it was like more of like I guess you want to call it a little bit of a shipping, but it wasn't cringe shipping. I think people felt like Sid and Kincaid always had a little bit of a connection in that movie, and this movie never explored it. But yeah, so they're just like, a fan shipping, and they're just like, fuck it, we'll just make it a thing. I don't have a problem with it. So you make them a thing, you have Ghostface go after her family. And I think you do this one, you do it right, you kill off one of the original 3. Not Sid. I think it's too late, just in general, to do that. It would feel like, I think there's a way you could probably make it creative. I feel like the negative thing now with killing Sid would feel gimmicky. It would just feel like you're doing it just to get a shock. So I'm open to killing Gale in this one and have Dewey try to say, or maybe like how I would do it. You kill Gale in the opening, honestly, and you have a scene where maybe she's going back and forth with the killer to Dewey, and Dewey's trying to race home, and he's, for one, you don't have him him and Gale be divorced. I wouldn't do that. I think I would just have them be married, and I get it. In reality, fucking David Arquette and Courtney Cox are divorced, but it just, why in the movie? Just so you could have fucking Dewey be, he was basically an alcoholic. He was like taking shot. He was a day drinker, which whatever. Okay, that part of it doesn't really bother me, but he was he was retired, but he felt like a shitty retired. He was just sad about it. He was living on his own. He felt depressing, at least in the start. They try to fix some doors in the end, but no. So I think at least in this one, you make Dewey, he's still the chief. He's still the fucking chief, like he was the sheriff. I mean, he was still like the sheriff in Scream 4. He's still the sheriff in this one. He's like racing home when the killer, and then maybe even have a scene where the killer calls Dewey to taunt him. Like, how cool that would be? Like, oh man. And then yeah, Sydney has to try to protect her family, and then I think, and then maybe you'll have like, I'm trying to think how you can introduce like a other set group of characters. Like you can, I'm trying to think how you could do it. Like maybe, you know what? I just thought of a way. Maybe Sydney has a side gig as a teacher, and maybe she teaches in one of the, like in her class. Maybe you have a small group. Like these can be like a group. Basically, these can be throwaway characters who can die, and make them decent. And no, I'm not gonna do the rules thing. I think that would be the one shock. You do not do the rules thing. I don't think you need to do the rules anymore. I don't know where you can. With this one, you just make it about Ghostface getting revenge on Sydney and trying to finally get her. Make that like the tag of the movie. Will Ghostface finally get her? Or make you believe that you might have a chance. I don't think I will. I think if you're gonna kill me, I mean, I'm okay. I'm open to Sydney dying if you give her a heroic death and not make it feel like you're just doing it for shock value. But I'm open to it. I'm okay in my version. She dies, but I feel like if you're gonna have it be the last one, I'm okay with Sydney living and just riding off in the sunset. I feel like if you're gonna kill her, I'm open to doing that and then the franchise continue. I just don't see the point in doing it if you're gonna have this. Ideally, this will be it. This is it. No rules, none of that. Because I think the problem with the rules now, it's just out of obligation now. I was okay with the rules for the first four because it made sense. You know, and the first one is the rules of a horror movie, and the second one is the rules of a sequel. Third one was the rule of a trilogy. The fourth one was the rule of like a remake or a reboot, basically remake slash reboot because it was the reboot era. And five was like a bad version of four because it was like, oh, it was a requel, but I'm like, five is basically the four did that already. So I just think you don't need to do the rules thing in this one. And then six basically was the same rules from five, really didn't change much. So I just think the rules just kind of got to go because it just feels out of obligation now. Having we got to have this character give this stupid rule speech, or you know what you could do? Have a gag where he's trying to about to give the speech, and people's like, I already know the fucking speech. I've seen the movie. Just have him be like, we get it, we know it already. Like I just think because it's become like out of obligation now. We got to have the rules scene, and like I said, it made sense really only for the first four. I think after that, it just felt like we got to have a rules scene because it was in every other Scream movie. But yeah, it makes and to make the reveal make sense. I wouldn't make it Kincaid because he was already a killer in Thanksgiving. You don't want to do the same kind of reveal. Just have it be somebody maybe within Sydney's inner circle, and you don't have it. You have the reveal make sense too, not like convoluted, and also you don't make the killers retarded because that's what ruined six. Really, was that I thought because Ghostface was pretty like interesting because in Scream Six he wasn't tripping, and I think that's the kind of Ghostface I want. But obviously, have the reveal, and nail the reveal. Because I think the Ghostface from six, before the reveal, was fucking awesome. He wasn't tripping on stuff. He was meticulous. He was like, I was like, okay, this is like a fucking Ghostface stepped up. It's like, okay, they're not trying to make him like a bumbling, like he's tripping on stuff. Like this is a Ghostface that's a threat in that kind of sense. So it was like, I want that, but the reveal is still to be good, and try not to go for a retread reveal either because unfortunately 5 and 6 a little bit both suffered from a lot of their motives were just motives from the other killers. I'm gonna try to stray away from that. Have the motive be something original. Have a good soundtrack too. I think that you need a good soundtrack. Like that's what made Scream was that the soundtrack wasn't always what made the franchise, but it was a good soundtrack nonetheless. I think all of them had relatively, the first four anyway, thought had a pretty good soundtrack all around. But that's what I feel like I would take Scream 7. I'm hoping Kevin Williamson really does nail it. But the one thing what I want really is 5 and 6 to be decanonized. I think Mainly 5. Not necessarily 6, more like 5. It's just, I think it's disrespectful to the franchise. It's just a bad movie. Um, Ghostface killing broad daylight, which is stupid as fuck. He somehow was able to kill the sheriff in broad daylight, which makes no sense. The reveal was retarded. The whole toxic fandom shit. The killers were stupid. Like, man, I can go into. I don't want to go too long about how it walks. I've done whole videos, so But I just feel like you gotta really decanonize that. And the fact that they were trying to make it for Wes Craven, like, oh, it was for honoring Wes Craven when it really wasn't. So I think you need this one. Ideally, I want to go for this is gonna be what for Wes Craven, legit, in Wes Craven's memory. And that's the other thing. You decanonize that stupid whole Sam is Billy's daughter shit. You needed to canonize that. It doesn't make any sense. Because even at the time when I was like watching, 5, when I watched 5, I was like, you look into the timeline, Billy would not have had time to cheat on Sid in the first Scream movie. Because, people have gone into it. It's out there. How the story of Billy and, who the killers between Billy, like, whoever who was in the Ghostface costume at this certain point, it wouldn't have made sense for Billy to somehow have time to cheat. It just wouldn't. Just so he can have a fucking bastard daughter that makes no sense out of nowhere. It's some fucking soap opera writing. And then some other kid randomly is not Randy, is Stu's nephew. When the fuck did it Stu have it? Oh, that's the other thing, really quick before I start wrapping up the video. I'm not doing the stupid Stu is the killer. I've always hated that. I just think that's a stupid idea. I've never understood it. Stu died. He got stabbed a shitload of times by Billy. And even Stu himself was saying, I'm bleeding here, man. And like basically when he's like, I'm dying here, man. Is he's like bleeding out? And you're telling me after that, and then gets a heavy ass TV thrown on him, which would have caved his face in because how heavy the TV were back in the day, or the glass would have killed him, or he would have been electrocuted to death. One or the other. He's dead. I've always hated that idea. It was because the idea came from basically because it was one of the original ideas for Scream 3 was gonna be that Stu came back. But at least Scream 3, the only plus I'd give it, at least canon-wise, it only been 3 years after the events of Scream, because I think, if I remember right, Scream 3, the events of Scream 3 happened in 1999. So that's the year it happens in, so which would have been 3 years after the event of the first Scream. So what I think, so it would have at least been like, okay, it'd have been a couple years. I still wouldn't have liked it, really. Stu's dead. I've always felt like he died that night. This isn't Michael fucking Myers. This isn't fucking Jason, where they can come back 40 years later and it's like, okay. Stu is a dude. He's a human. He was, in Scream 1, he was a fucking high school kid at that. You're really gonna have me believe he survived getting a TV thrown on him, and then he was already bleeding out from being stabbed to shit by Billy? No, man. Stu's dead. He was fucking dead, man. So anyway, I wouldn't have done that. I've always hated that whole plot line. So, I'm really hoping they don't do that. I'm not, as much as I love, fucking Matthew Lillard, Stu's dead, man. Can we just accept it? Especially bringing him back now, when it's like, Scream, the first one, is the same age as me, 28 years old. The 28-year-old movie. You're gonna tell me Stu pops back, like, let's say Scream 7 comes out next year. You're gonna really tell me Stu reappears 29 years later? Why did he wait that long? Where the fuck was he? You're gonna have me when you if you do something like that, you're just gonna be open. You're just open to people asking, "How the fuck? Where was he for 29 years?" And they'll say like he was in some institution. No, he would have. I'm pretty sure Billy, if Stu somehow survived, he would have been charged and probably gotten like capital punishment. I guess it was California, so like life in prison. He wouldn't have been in like some institution. He would have been in like life in prison. Unless they're gonna try and go for an insanity plea, but that would be stupid. But no, don't bring Stu back. Stu's dead. Just can we just accept that? Anyway, I think the only really I think if Scream 5 and the 6 is still canon, I just don't really see where I think Scream 7's dead. Just because you got the poison of Scream 7, Scream 5 still there. I think you're better off just cutting it. I mean, for them, even for their sake, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Burr are never coming back. So why not just discanonize those movies? You do that, you give yourself a fresh slate instead of having to come up with some reason why they're gone and then why the other characters are gone, because I don't see them bringing them back. I just don't see the point in bringing them back, and I don't think they would bring them back. So all those characters are pretty much done. The core four, what they were called in Stream 6, I just think that's done. So I don't understand. So what I think they need to do, you're better off just cutting those movies. I mean, like I said, I like 6, but it's too little too late. 5 did the damage. So I think you're better off just cutting the cancer out, mainly 5 out, and just 6 may just have to be an unfortunate casualty. So anyway, I think that's what they need to do, and this is what I feel like I would take the franchise anyway. I feel like this video's gotten a bit longer than I originally planned on it being. But anyway, I enjoyed it though. I really hope they can fix what the damage they did. I don't know. I don't have faith they will, but I'm hoping. There's a part of me. I love Scream. If they can somehow repair the damage that 5 did, if they just discanonize those movies, you try to actually decanonize. If you decanonize those movies, you try. And that's the other thing. I should mention this before I start. Actually, now I'm about to wrap up. You need to have Sydney. You have Neve Campbell there. You gotta actually have her. Give her something to work with. Give her something to chew. Give her something. What I mean, chew in terms of acting. Give her something like. Because I think Sydney is a great character, but I'm sorry. Neve Campbell just. I felt like she was phoning it. I don't know if it was her or if she just didn't like the script in some way, because I'm sorry. She just did not. Sydney just wasn't all the way there for me. And people were almost excusing it with like, oh, Sydney's just so over Ghostface's shit. It's like, no, this is just Sydney has always been an emotional character. Even, she's still strong, but like and can face adversity with obviously the events of the other Ghostface attacks. But I just think she just I didn't feel anything from her in 5 at all. Like, she just felt like she was just there. So I'm really hoping you actually give her something to work with in this movie. And it's Kevin Williamson, so there's maybe a chance this could be good. There's a chance. I don't know. If he's writing, and if they really do decanonize 5, mainly 5, I'll focus on that one. If they would almost have to decanonize both. I just don't think you can just decanonize one. I just think you're better off doing it, and then you're kind of now you have a clean slate with the franchise now. No, don't focus on the nostalgia. Have a good reveal again. I think that's the other thing they need to go in. Now it's got to become more of like what they should do now. They definitely need to focus their energy on having a good final act. Because what made the first 2, I would say mainly the first 2 Screams, because I think third one, third final act was okay, but had some issues. Same with four. Mainly the first two. I thought those final acts were really good, especially the first one. But they really worked on having a good reveal, and I think you need to have that again because it just the last two reveals have not been good at all. It six is not as bad as five, but five is at least six didn't have the whole toxic fandom element, but it was still stupid. They made the ghost faces retarded when they did the reveal. Like once the reveal happened, they were like incompetent. It was like, what the fuck? They did this in like You're Next, to be honest, which I'll eventually review that movie. Where I feel like the killers, once the reveal happened, they just become fucking morons. It's like, anyway, this helicopter's about to head it coming, so I'm just like, end here. Tomorrow, I'm gonna more than likely try to review The Covenant because I do want to watch it. I'll try to watch it early tomorrow. If not, I'll watch it Saturday if I don't watch it tomorrow. But anyway, I'm gonna call it here. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Peace.